Hope you guys all had a very, very nice Memorial Day holiday weekend. It's good to get the players back in. Week 2 of now our true OTAs, where we're getting out on the grass in more of a practice format. Can't say enough about the work the guys are putting in and what we're getting out of this from a learning and teaching phase and starting to kind of introduce the competition phase, the coaching and what's going on in the classrooms, what's being translated out to the grass by our players. It's really showing up. Very lucky to have the coaches we have in place and the veteran leadership we have on our football team. Before I take any questions, I did want to provide an update to you guys regarding training camp, at least a big part of it for us. We're really excited to let you guys know that we will be hosting joint practices not just one time this year, but twice. We will be welcoming the Titans and the Cardinals here to our facility before our Week 2 and Week 3 preseason games. Will give us a tremendous opportunity to have really four plus days of really good competition. I know both Coach Vrabel and Coach Jonathan Gannon, both those guys I have personal relationships with. I know what kind of leaders they are. I know what kind of teams they'll be bringing here, ready to make sure we get some great work. But to be able to have that is a critical part of our training camp formula to try to be at our best when the season rolls around. We've got such amazing facilities here. I don't know if there's a better facility in the entire NFL. In fact, I know there's not. To host your training camp, allow fans to be here, but ultimately also host 2 NFL teams in back-to-back weeks, and they can feel comfortable and confident that they're going to come here and be provided what they need to get ready for the season as well. So really excited about that. We'll let you guys know the exact details of what that looks like as we approach training camp, but wanted to make sure you guys were aware of that and something we're really excited about.
The experience with the 49ers last year kind of reinforce the idea for you or tell you that this is worth, I guess, doubling down on in some ways?
Yeah, Ben, it's huge just because I think back to that week of work, and we learned a lot about our football team that week. Everybody knew what type of team would be coming in from a competition standpoint. Very few coaches in this league that I have the amount of respect for that I do for Kyle Shanahan. I knew what we were getting from that organization coming in here, and it was very competitive. It should push that line sometimes, but if guys are truly preparing for week 1 of the regular season, they know how important that work is, and we were able to get 2 great days of work that really helped both of our teams. So in the spirit of knowing, what our football team got out of that, I was really, really excited to, get to line up two organizations with 2 great coaches that really can have that kind of alignment of hopefully what we're trying to get done day in and day out while they're here to maximize it for both teams.
What's the benefit having 2 different teams come in here?
Yeah, 2 different looks. So now essentially, you'll get the early part of training camp versus our own defense. We'll be competing like crazy, but then you get 2 different structures of offense and defense and special teams that guys can truly test where they're at in preparation to not only make our team, but to see where they're at, in regards to that opener and maybe where they need to possibly study a little bit more. Hey, the looks are changing. Things are happening different than what we're used to from the spring and from early parts of training camp. What can we get out of that is a whole heck of a lot. And I know our players really enjoy it. You always feel the energy when those days are happening, and really looking forward to it.
Jordan banged up. He has not taken part in practice for the 2 days that we've been out here.
Yeah, he's. We're being overly cautious with him right now. Just something that kind of popped up towards the tail end of rookie minicamp. Nothing serious at all, and he's just. My big thing with him right now is there's so much learning going on for him. We've got big plans for him, obviously, but want to make sure mentally he's in a great space and physically at his best. When we allow him to kind of truly go out there and turn it loose. And really, it's just a matter of what phase of the offseason are we in right now. Where learning is at a premium, and we want to make sure he's getting every possible resource and avenue that we can, so when his time comes to activate him fully within our group, that he's ready to roll.
College thing or new thing? Is that a college thing going back to for him that popped up?
Yeah,
or
it's,
a new
it's
thing?
really something that, as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of a day-to-day thing that we're just working through. And like I said, it's all about, this time of year, it's better to be safe with things, knowing that, training camp's really not all that far away, and to give him the best possible chance to impact our team like I think he will, that's the plan we're going with.
Last year at this time, you were probably still drinking through the fire hose, learning everything.
Yeah.
Can you concentrate on different things now at this stage of the season because of what you went through last year?
Absolutely. I think I'm finding myself, as much as anything, leaning on the coordinators a ton and being able to take a step back. You can still call the plays on offense, but then take a step back and really view it from an all-22 lens, and that's what I've been getting more comfortable doing. You know, in year one, my eyes just happen to find their way to the quarterback a lot of times. My eyes found their way to what the wideouts were doing, what did the detail look like in what they were doing, what did the protection look like up front. But now, I just have so much faith in the guys that coach not only for us, but our players, our leadership, that things are going to be executed at a high level. And when they're not, that's what this phase is all about, making sure that we're correcting things real time, on the fly. We've got the video boards out here. We're getting meeting time, making sure that we're truly maximizing this time.
Coach, what was the importance of having 2 video boards out there for you guys to see the replays right after the play?
Well, it's just like you probably at your house, man. Why put a TV up right there? Because it's going to be pretty sweet to have another TV. No, I'm just kidding. It truly is. I want every coach and player to have not only a real-time visual of what's happening, but the guys taking the reps. Hey, TJ's walking back and Brian Angelico wants to say something to him. Why not turn and just view the play? It just keeps playing on loop until the next play starts. And part of maximizing these guys' time is to make sure we are never missing a moment to possibly coach something. Or I think it's great sometimes to just say, hey, look up there. That's exactly how I want you to do it. That was a great rep right there. So it goes all the way around. But we're, like I said to you guys many times, the resources we're provided with to truly try to maximize what we want to be as coaches, and hopefully what our players experience when they're on the grass is the reason for that. And very thankful to the Wilfs and our entire organization for letting us have not only this beautiful facility, but some of the little parts that go into trying to maximize each day.
What are you seeing from your offensive backfield with Dalvin away, and you got other guys who are getting other reps? What are you seeing from those guys?
Yeah, I think this spring has been it's been really good to see Alex Madison, take a few more reps and really show that all 3 down kind of ownership that he's been capable of for a long time. I think that between Kene and Ty, there already seems to be a really nice competition brewing there, because both those guys are having really solid springs and kind of showing their versatility. Can they impact us not only in the run game, Kev, but the pass game to me is about their ability to win when they're running routes. But you got to be against this defense. You got to be willing to step in there and block a little bit and pass pro. It's not something we can get full-time real reps of without pads on right now, but you can certainly be working your technique and fundamentals. And then, McBride's coming along, really well. And like a lot of our rookies, we don't really slow down for those guys. It's part of the method is to make sure they come in and feel, kind of that deep end of the pool type of, man, I got a long way to go. We've got time. We get extra time with them. But we want that entire group pushing each other, and really been happy with that group so far. And CJ, having CJ in that room, I can't speak enough about what CJ means to me as the head coach, and critical part of our leadership.
To go back to the joint practices, does that allow you to kind of do what you did last year in terms of being pretty cautious with the starters when you actually get into the preseason game?
Yeah, we'll see. I really, tend to try to treat those as individual opportunities and really assess where guys are at in their attempts to either make our team, solidify a role, if they're a guy we know is going to be here, and ultimately just if there's a chance to use those competitive environments to help solidify the best 53 guys for our team, we're going to do that, but never at the cost of, potentially overly putting your players at risk. And that's where I think to get, your starting groups 70-80% of the work on those days, those guys feel like they played a preseason game and then some, when you get to later on in those weeks. So it's a great point. It's something that I'll be talking to Flo and Hat and Wes about as far as each individual player, and we'll have a plan for those guys that also pertains to the first game at Seattle and what that means for our group.
How much of an assessment were you able to get off year one?
Yeah, I thought instinctively, even when he didn't really truly know the offense from an in and out standpoint of exactly what his role and responsibility was, I thought last preseason you saw a ton of just natural instincts as a runner show up, toughness, great finish. We've seen his impact in the pass game and kind of his overall football IQ show up from day one. That was a huge reason why we kind of fell in love with him a year ago. He's having a really good offseason, and I think he's excited. That year one to year two jump at that position, just the feel of, not a lot of these guys get real, tangible reps just in the run game of feeling, our NFL run scheme concepts, how certain combinations are hit. So I think every rep matters for him, and it did last year, and I thought he used truly a year where, he had some different roles before the injury where he, could be activated on teams, he could get a jersey on game day, and then ultimately make sure that each and every week was a developmental process for him so he can be ready to go for this year.
What do you see with the O-line too? Consistency, a lot of guys back together. They said that they can kind of just look at each other and see. Have you seen them take a step maybe ahead? It's hard to judge OTAs from last OTAs.
Yeah, no, it's a great question just because there's some days that I kind of know based upon what we're scripting and what the look may be, what the outcome might be, and it's we're not spoon feeding information to those guys. Between Kirk and Garrett and the rest of that offensive line, they're solving problems in real time. Sometimes with things that I hope to get to, post Memorial Day or in June, just to introduce before training camp, and they're already, hey, you guys remember this call, and they activate it, and so just the ownership is huge, the communication inside out, outside in, those guys being on the same page, and then you see Brian O'Neill essentially right there in that huddle. Every time Kirk calls a play, he's there. He's just not taking the rep right now, but he's doing great. And having that group together, not only the starting five, but the critical factor of the depth in that room, all being guys returning that we feel like we have one of the deeper rooms in the NFL.
The wide receivers, no Justin right now, no Jordan. What have you seen from maybe KJ in a leadership role, and then also guys like Jalen Naylor heading into year two?
Yeah, KJ's been a real standout all spring. He's moving around. He's playing multiple spots, taking on a leadership role, which I expected him to do in that room, and it's just been a really cool process to see not only his ownership of what his role was previously, but you can see it. When he breaks the huddle, he knows what to do. He knows, how to apply all the different techniques and fundamentals that Keenan and Tony talk about. And then, his ability to just be consistent, no matter where we put him, run or pass, is huge. And Jalen Naylor keeps showing up as well, and Jalen Reagor as well. Those guys, one of the things that's been great about this spring is getting to see different combinations of guys in different spots, and truly in real time seeing, who's exactly where in the lens of comfort in any position in our offense. We teach concepts, we teach roles and responsibilities that we can alter and change at any time based upon what we see fit when the season comes around. You guys know that. So, when we are in this learning and teaching phase, we are evaluating where these guys are at mentally, because they're all very talented. But as I just told the team when we broke it down, it's one thing you guys know. When you break the huddle, you know exactly what to do, where to align, what exactly your job is. You know how much better you do your job on that play than the 2 or 3 times a day where a guy may break the huddle with some indecision and not know what to do. It slows our whole operation down, and we're trying to, if there were 5 of those plays a week ago, we're trying to see less today and hopefully none by the end of minicamp.
Last one, here for a portion of this, Kevin, or not until the mandatory camp?
For me, I hope to see him as soon as possible. I think our participation amongst the whole team has been so good that, we're able to get great work in. Would love to have him here, obviously. But I think as we work towards minicamp, we'll have a real clean-cut plan of what that looks like, and hopefully get him some work. And I know a lot of the guys will be excited to see him.
Why is he not here, I guess?
It's one of those things that we've had great dialogue throughout the offseason. A lot of that will stay between Justin and I, but I just know he's getting work, wherever he's spending his offseason. Look forward to having him here when he decides to come up, and I know his teammates will be excited about that.